Hi guys, it's time for my Bachelorette recap for episode 8, JoJo's season. This is the episode with the hometown dates. As always, if you have not watched the episode yet and don't want to know what happens, you might want to come back to this video after you've watched it. Otherwise, keep on watching. Also, I took notes, so I'll be referring to my notes from time to time when I give you this recap. As I mentioned, this is the episode with the hometown dates, so JoJo is down to her final 4 guys. She's got Robbie, Chase, Jordan, and Luke. So she went to each of their hometowns to see them there and meet their families. So the first hometown date that JoJo went on was in Colorado with Chase. She went to Chase's house and there they met with Chase's dad. They met with Chase's dad and his mom and the rest of his family separately. Chase's parents are divorced, so it might have been awkward if everybody was in the same room together. So they met with Chase's dad first, and that was a really nice visit. And then they went over to Chase's mom's house where they met with Chase's mom, his sister, his brother-in-law, and his little nephew. So Chase's family was really warm, really welcoming, very positive towards JoJo, and JoJo seemed to really fit in well with them. What was nice was when JoJo went and talked privately with Chase's mom, for example, it didn't feel like she was on an interview. It was just a nice conversation. So I have to say that all of the families in this episode were really warm, welcoming, nice, and that's really great. The only bad thing about that is JoJo's got a really tough decision on her hands when she chooses who to give a rose to after meeting all the families. I'm sure she really liked all of them. The next date was to Chico, California to meet with Jordan's family. They went on a tour of Jordan's old high school and they met with his old football coach and his former teachers, and that looked like a lot of fun. Then they went and met with Jordan's family. She met with Jordan's parents and his brother Luke. His brother Aaron was not there, and that was a bit of a focus for that visit, the fact that Aaron wasn't there. But for the most part, it was such a nice, positive, really nice visit. Again, Jordan's family was really warm and welcoming and positive towards JoJo. They seemed really supportive, and so it looked like a really nice hometown date as well. JoJo did bring up the fact that she really likes Jordan, but she's afraid that the same thing will happen with Jordan that happened to her with Ben, so she's not really sure of how she should proceed. But she talked to Jordan about that and seems to feel a little bit better after they talked, so we'll see what happens with that. The third hometown date was with Robbie in St. Augustine and Jacksonville, Florida. First, JoJo met up with Robbie in St. Augustine and they took a horse-drawn carriage ride through St. Augustine. They have an old town area. I went there when I was a child and I really liked it. I would like to see it as a grown-up, so I think I will put that on my list. But anyway, they had a very nice tour through St. Augustine and then they went and met with Robbie's family. Again, Robbie's family, warm, welcoming, enthusiastic. JoJo really got along with them and it seemed to be a really successful hometown date. There was some drama around Robbie's ex, and JoJo also expressed some concern that his previous relationship was a lot more recent, so she had some concerns about that. However, Robbie talked to her about that and she seems to feel better after they talked. But again, JoJo talking to his family members one-on-one, it just seemed really nice and it wasn't like an interview and they weren't grilling her. It was just a really pleasant visit. And we learned that Robbie is not our villain. We don't have any more villains. Last week it looked like maybe they were positioning Robbie as our next villain, but they weren't. There are no more villains, and I think all 4 guys are really great guys, and they were just showing them with their families and they're focusing more on their relationships with JoJo now. The last hometown date was with Luke in Burnett, Texas. This was a different hometown visit because not only did JoJo meet Luke's family, but she met 50 of his closest friends from his hometown. They had a really big picnic and made a really nice event out of it. It was very Texas. They had barbecue and it looks like a fun time was had by all. And his family was again warm, welcoming, supportive, really nice, and JoJo seems to fit in with everybody there. After the picnic, Luke and JoJo went off to talk talk, and they just talked about their relationship and talked about things. However, Luke did not tell JoJo that he was in love with her just yet. There were some gestures there. Either he set up or the Bachelor intern set up a heart-shaped, a heart on the ground made of a garland of flowers with a lighted path leading up to it, and he brought her to that and said, "I'm giving you my heart," but he didn't say he was in love with her. So that was kind of the issue there, but that was the only issue with that date. Otherwise, it looked like it was a really successful date as well. She wore the cowboy boots he gave her, and she felt right at home because she's a Texan as well. So gosh, now the rose ceremony. The rose ceremony after the hometown dates has got to be the most difficult rose ceremony for any bachelor or bachelorette, because you just met the families of your top 4 people and now you have to send someone home. And gosh, that's got to be hard, because you probably, like in this case, she had to have liked all of the families. They were all so nice and so warm and welcoming. Like I keep saying, warm and welcoming. That's how they all were. And so to send someone home after meeting their family, you have this connection with this guy, you met his family, and now you have to send him home. That has got to be so difficult, and it's probably difficult every season for every bachelor and bachelorette. So I do not envy them at all. In this case, I don't envy JoJo on this rose ceremony, because it's probably really tough. Now this rose ceremony is going to be a little bit different, and I think it's pretty cool because it takes place at an airplane hangar, and there is a private jet waiting to whisk away JoJo and her top 3 suitors to their next destination. Now before the rose ceremony even started, Luke asked if he could talk to JoJo, so they went to talk in private, and Luke told JoJo that he is in love with her. Now JoJo was ready to send Luke home, but now that he told her he's in love with her, she has no idea what she is going to do, and she seems quite distraught about it. I could understand that. She was ready to send Luke home because she wasn't really sure how he felt about her. The other guys said they were in love with her, but he did not until now. And so she was ready to send him home. But now this changed everything, so we have a cliffhanger. It is to be continued, and we're not going to know what's going to happen until next week. Now next week is going to be great because we'll find out what happened from this week. We'll probably see the fantasy suite dates, and then the next night, on Tuesday night, it will be the Men Tell All episode. Now the Men Tell All episode, the Women Tell All episode, Bachelor and Bachelorette seasons, every season, that is the best episode of the season, so I cannot wait for that. So I will not be doing my Bachelorette recap on Tuesday, I will be doing it on Wednesday, so I'll be recapping the episode Monday night and then the Men Tell All episode Tuesday. So I will be doing my recap on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, we don't know who gets a rose from this episode, but we do know that she was gonna send Luke home, but now she might not. We shall see. I have no idea who she should pick. My top picks are still Jordan and Luke. I really like Luke. I think Luke would make an excellent bachelor. Not to say that doesn't mean that I don't like Chase and Robbie. I like them too, but Jordan and Luke have been my favorites for a while now. I think JoJo should just follow her heart. She's got 4 great guys there. So let me know in the comments below who you think JoJo should give her final rose to. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel to be first to know about my Bachelorette recaps, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!